Hi, before we begin this section on terrines and encroutes, I've made a few videos for you to watch as demos so you can know how to prepare them when we get to lab. As far as terrines are called that due to the vessel that it's cooked in or prepared in, which is either a rectangular, it can be oblong, it can be a triangle shape, and terrine is also indicated by the ingredients. And usually there's a force meat. And that force meat can either be made from a mousse, which from previous discussions we determined to be a prepared base, thickened with gelatin, and whipped heavy cream. Now, terrine prepared with a mousse is no longer cooked. Therefore, it's assembled, already cooked, so it's considered an uncooked terrine. Another terrine that is going to be cooked is prepared with a mousseline. A mousseline is prepared with a raw base, like either seafood or shellfish or chicken, usually lighter meats, lighter proteins, and then it's thickened sometimes with a panada, which is made with eggs and flour or eggs and bread. It also has egg whites in it and unwhipped heavy cream. So for this first video, I'm going to start with an uncooked terrine. And here are the ingredients that I have here. So we've got roasted vegetables, and as you can see, I thinly sliced them. I have eggplant, zucchini, I did a roasted red bell pepper, and I blanched some leeks. Now this is the terrine that we're going to be using, and I've already lined it with the leeks. Now when you make a terrine, your bottom becomes your top because it gets flipped over. I also want to point out that I have parchment paper in here, lined, and that helps with keeping the shape of the terrine, and it helps with unmolding. It can't stick to the pan. And to make the strips of parchment, I just very simply accordion a sheet of parchment paper, and then I use my chef's knife or scissors you can use to cut the strips, as so. Then I also spray some cooking spray on the pan very, very lightly and on the sheets to help the parchment go right down into the corners of the terrine. You want to take a look down in there. Okay. Now you can use a variety of vegetables. They all have to be pre-cooked, and that is to remove the moisture from them. You can season them with very simply a little salt and pepper. You can do a little balsamic vinegar, a little garlic, and the component that we have is going to hold it together is a mousse made of cream cheese, a little gelatin, some whipped heavy cream. I've got some basil, oregano, a little onion powder, garlic powder in there, and the heavy whipped cream, of course. So since the bottom is going to become the top, I'm going to select the vegetables to put in there. I think I want to put the eggplant in first. So I'm going to go ahead and do a layer, and you want your layers to be as even as possible. That's why you want your vegetables to be very thin. It makes it easier to slice the thinner they are. Make sure that your vegetables are flush to the pan. You don't want to have any air gaps, and you also don't want the mousse to seep through. You want to keep it between the layers as much as possible. Okay. Now I have my mousse in a bag, and as you can see, I also had it chilled. When working with these kind of products, it's extremely important to have everything very cold. I don't need a decorative tip for this. I just have a pastry bag, and I'm going to cut about a quarter size hole in the pastry bag, and I'm going to layer the mousse. Again, being careful not to have too thick of a layer. nice even coating. Then you're going to take an offset spatula and you're going to spread as evenly as possible your mousse layer. Now remember, you're going to have other ingredients on top of this, so it will weight it down. Plus we're going to weight it down as it sets up. Then I think I want the next layer to be the red pepper. That's going to be more in the center of the terrine. And I want that nice bright red color. Okay, I think just more right there. And as I said, I want to make sure that all the mousse is covered. So then we'll do another layer of the mousse. Now I think that 2 layers of the herbed cream cheese mousse is enough for this particular terrine, because it is kind of rich and I don't want to overpower. So I'm going to end with the zucchini. Yellow squash is nice, yellow bell peppers are nice. As I said, a variety of vegetables, providing you can slice them very thin. So once I've covered the second layer of mousse, I'm going to take my layers of leeks that I alternately put on top of the parchment paper. And as you can see, the leeks have been blanched and then shocked in ice water to maintain their color. We want to use mainly the white part up to the lighter, paler green for some color, but we don't want the very tops of the leeks, which are dark green and very tough. And then I'm going to cover it with the parchment strips. After that, I'm going to cover it with some foil and then seal it with some plastic film. And I'm going to place a couple of cans. You want no more than 2 pounds of weight on top of your terrines. It's going to go into the refrigerator for at least 24 hours. It can stay in there for up to 3 days. And then after we unmold it, I will show you how we're going to decorate and slice it. Thank you.